Yeah, no, I had kids the next day. I had a child.
At least 5.
Asexually.
Asexually. What?
I reproduced them myself.
Wow, who needs women?
Just get together with your bro friends and have a child.
Just reproduce on your own. Simple as it's simple. Simple as it's simple. That's my new motto. It's simple as it's simple.
Well, that makes sense, seeing as though you're from Dudley.
Yeah, and I am simple.
I remember when, thinking of Butterfingers and Fish Fingers, when I was in primary school, me and a friend, we had to make inventions. And we thought we were really cool because we came up with a name for a biscuit called Butterfingers. And then we found that there were biscuits called Butterfingers, and we thought they'd ripped us off. We were like, unbelievable. How do they find our IP? Terrible. How could they do this? How could they rip off such $1 million idea? Unbelievable.
I mean, speaking of useless $1 million ideas, Joel, what about someone that ripped off the idea of a perfectly functioning, cohesive, and beautifully put together machine called a computer, and then just destroyed it with a Mac?
How could someone take a computer, a beautifully functioning computer, and then put the hideous Windows on it? That's how they did it, because they looked at that.
I mean, they
went,
copied
oh,
Windows. They copied Windows.
Like, I'm not here to discuss how it started.
No, they copied Windows
because
it started with Mac copying Windows.
Everyone
so this is
copies
the real
everyone.
meat and butter. Okay, no. The Mac was just a, how do we put it? It's a copy my homework but get every question wrong and fuck it up type of situation, right?
But yet you get the best
Windows,
marks at the end of
Windows,
the test.
but you don't. You simple as you do not.
You're simple as.
We've gone over this. Yes, I might be simple, but some things are better simple, and that is a PC. Okay,
You
a
can't
PC is
call
simple.
PC simple.
A PC works. It is compared to a Mac. It is.
No.
Right?
I think you've got this all wrong. You've got it all backwards.
No, I really don't.
Right?
I really don't. You're telling me that Mac OS is easier to navigate and work around than Windows?
Everything is gesture control. So you can just swipe up, swipe left, swipe down. On Windows, it's like, you got to right click, you got to press the space bar, you've got to click run, click /p list FZ spec, and then you've got to find line 132, change the value from true to false.
Are you trying to hack into the mainframe of the Washington DC manor? Hello?
No, I'm just trying to change my icon sizes on the home screen, on the background.
Oh yeah, so you go into start, type in icon, and then that's it, you're done. What do you have to do with Mac OS? You have to phone up NASA, get the relay for rocket science algorithms, put that into your Mac OS, then have to update Mac OS because obviously it's not fucking updated, is it? Then that takes about 8 years to update your Mac OS. Once you've done that, then you realize, oh my god, all the software is out of date. Then you've got to update the software. Then good old Mr. fucking Macintosh is like, because you're on an older model, we're not going to work anymore. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, this piece of equipment that you just spent an overpriced amount on, no.
Right.
Not going to work anymore.
You're wrong on two accounts there. The first one, right, is
might as well make it 3 while you're at it.
Mac. I can't count higher than 2. Mac.
Of course, you can't use a Mac.
They might be overpriced a little bit, but unlike Windows, you're not meant to keep the same machine for 15 years and then be really surprised when it don't work because the parts are really not powerful enough because it's a decade and a half old. You should be updating your computer at least every 6 to 7 years.
You do update your computer every 6 to 7 years, but a 15-year-old computer performs better than 90% of Macs. How sad's that?
It certainly doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
My example's a bad example because it is literally a decade old.
So, yeah, okay. So let's take that as an example. Your old Betty that takes fucking 20 years to boot up, right? This is why this episode's late. Your fault. Your Betty takes 20 years to boot up, and I'm surprised she's still holding together now. But my computer that I don't even use anymore, that's over a decade old, can boot up in a second. If I plugged it in right now, could download all the software that we use in a second, right? And still play at a higher frame rate games than your current Mac.
You can download all that software in a second.
Yes,
it's a good amount of time.
it
That
could.
Why don't we time it? Because the computer that's so powerful that you apparently never use anymore because it really is shit.
Well, I don't use it anymore because I've got an upgrade.
Did you buy a Mac?
Better. Did I buy a Mac? No, I don't like wasting money. I bought a PC that, funnily enough, the thing with PCs as well is you can put them together yourself. Crazy, I know. You can buy a case, buy parts that are modular, that are interchangeable, right? And put it together yourself.
Boom.
Isn't that really cool?
Research RAID. Go research RAID, you simpleton. Yeah?
RAID?
Yeah, go and find out about RAID, and you can build your own Hackintosh. Sorted.
Hackintosh. See, that's how budget B-tech it is. You can't even call it a Macintosh because it's a Hackintosh.
Well, yeah, it's not made by Apple, is it? It's made by your own grubby hands.
Exactly, and it's going to probably fall apart with the parts that you put in there.
At least you can actually have it, and at least it can actually work properly rather than getting a Windows PC and then you turn it on for the first time and it's like, oh yay, I've got to update and it's going to take 16 hours and it's not going to tell me. Never mind. Didn't plan
how many
on
updates? How many updates has a Mac had in the last 2 years?
I don't know. To be fair, that's not information I have.
Oh, it's not information you have, is it? It's probably because it's been more than 10.
Well, no, it's got
over the course of 2 years, whereas Windows updates maybe every year.
Oh, Windows updates every 16 centuries.
Oh, even better, and it still works better.
I wish. Apart from the fact that you can't even Windows 11 can't even drag and drop things properly. You can't drag and it doesn't even work.
I think that's more of the idiot controlling it than the software. Because hate to disappoint you, you could buy a Lamborghini, Joel, right? Which is the equivalent of a PC nowadays. And you could buy a Lamborghini, but if you can't drive for shit, then you're not going to be able to work it. That's like you working a computer.
Well, in this instance, I wouldn't be able to even turn on the engine of the Lamborghini because it wouldn't start.
Is that because you put it together wrong?
Do you put your own Lamborghini together, dear?
Yeah, but I put my own computer together.
To be fair, look, I've put my own...
And it works perfectly fine.
Shut your mush, right? I've put my own computer together too, and it is a PC. And yes, it's not activated, and yes, it's 5 years old, and that's not the point. The point is that, yeah, it works all right, it's nice, but it is not as polished as a Mac in any way, shape, or form.
So, if it's not... Despite all the bickering, okay? Despite all the, the let's get louder and louder and louder and see who works, let's focus a little bit, Joel, on the idiocy that you're spouting for 2 seconds.
2 seconds is up. That's it, we're done.
Alright, bye.
No, go on. Fine. What were you going to say? Just be that guy.
I was going to say, what do you use to play games with, Joel?
I play mostly board games. So
do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, like Ticket to Ride. Yeah. Monopoly's a good one. Ever play Bananagrams? You'd love it. Yeah.
You lying little cunt.
I don't tend to play, what do they call them? Video what? Yeah, games, no.
Sorry, Grandad. I'll inform you then, shall I?
Yeah, go on.
Video games are something that requires a certain amount of processing power, something that a Mac clearly doesn't have. It also requires a graphics driver and things like that, something a Mac doesn't have.
Mac still have graphics cards.
And sorry, I'm talking. Your 2 seconds is up. To a degree where Steam, the holy grail of game libraries and the variety of stores that it has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When they have to make a downgraded version of their own app so that Mac can use it, I think that just says a lot when, Steam itself doesn't require a lot of processing power. And if you look at any games under Steam, there's a disparity on what you need a Mac like to the specified requirements, the spec requirements, as some would say, you need on a Mac and then on a PC. And as a PC, it's like, you know, it's requirements that are 10, maybe 12 years old. On a Mac, it's like rocket calculations. And then again, that's like the minimum. That's the bare minimum for a Mac, that you need a NASA science
like
computer.
You go onto the recommended on Windows. It's like, yeah, GTX 950 and an Intel i5 from 6 years ago, 8 gigs of RAM. And then you look at the Mac column and it just says next year's model.
Yeah, it does.
No, you see, look,
no, it's all right. My argument there has just been proven. Thank you very much.
No, you see, this is what you don't get. This is what you don't get. You don't buy a Mac to go and play sweaty games on your covered in What's-Its controller, right? That's not what you do with a Mac. You buy a Mac
because you play controllers
because you've actually got aspirations in life, right? And what you do is,
really?
yeah. And you buy a Mac because of the ability to download the Mac creative software that works seamlessly across Mac, iPad, iOS. The whole ecosystem works. I have InDesign, I have Affinity Designer and Affinity Photo, right? And what I can do is on my Mac, I could edit something and then push it over to an iPad and continue editing it on there while I'm out and about. Push it back to the Mac. It's crazy. Windows, you try and do that, and honestly, you'll end up like blowing your house up because it can't do it. It's like, what? You're trying to transfer?
You know, you just plug in a USB to a micro USB and do it that way.
What do you want about micro USB for? What are you even on about?
That's how you transfer files from a computer to a laptop or a tablet or something. It's just a USB to a micro USB.
Yeah, but have you ever used a Windows tablet? Have you ever used a Surface?
Yeah, I have actually.
That's about all they're good for, is being a Surface. Do you know what I mean?
So what does that make like a MacBook good for? A fucking coffee coaster?
No, a book. It's a book. It's a book of intellectual ideas and possibilities of endless creativity.
I mean, you say that you've got all these fantastic creator studio stuff. What are you recording on right now, Joel?
I'm recording on a Mac.
No, I just mean the software. Is it a beautiful Macintosh software that you're recording on?
Yeah, it's called a Pro Mac Recorder for pros.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are we gonna just spout lies this entire topic?
No, it's Pro Mac.
No.
Pro Mac recording software for professionals.
Pro Mac Virgin software. Got it right.
Yeah.
So
it is called.
While you're sat there trying to spout lies, I'll tell people the truth that the recording software that we use is someone made for Windows.
No, someone made it for both.
No, they made it for Windows, and then people were like, "Where? What about our coffee coasters?" And then like, fine, I'll push it out for Mac. Right. So, listen, no one makes software with Mac in mind unless they, hate themselves. So,
apart from the majority of professional video editing softwares, the majority of professional audio editing softwares, apart from all of those, apart from, all of the pages type things and the productivity, but yeah, apart from all of those, you're right. No one.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, what do they matter? The people that are really successful nowadays are the gamers, okay? the Giga Chad gamers, all right? Twitch. Do you think anyone on Twitch streams on a Mac? No, of course they don't, because it's not got the processing power to stream. Do you know how much Twitch streamers are making yearly, Joel? Too much.
Yeah, is it too much? Is that what it is?
Too much.
Official statistics from 2021. Too much.
Too much. None of them are using Macs. You know why? Because they're useless. They're a pain in the ass. And I'll give you a real life example. My good friend Lucas, right? He has a MacBook. Bless his heart, right? Suffered with being overcharged, right? And regretted it ever since. I've looked at his MacBook. We've tried to update it and it just literally crashed in front of us because the update was too powerful for his computer. And then he thought he'd have to get it repaired. Listen, you go and get your PC repaired. It's quite cheap, actually. They'll probably fix something, they'll probably turn it on and off again and it'll work. Alright? A Mac, you go up to the Apple employees and they're all snobby arseholes. And they're like, no, this is going to be an extra £400 because you've cracked your screen. I'm really sorry, but we can't replace it like normal, coherent people. I'm just going to have to make you buy another one with the newest model.
You're talking about phones there, not computers. And if you take your Android phone...
You can crack a computer screen, Joel.
What if the computer is just a computer itself?
You can still crack a computer screen.
I've never been in a situation where I've done that. Have you ever cracked your computer screen?
Yeah. If the computer... We're on about Macs that are like big, blocky fucking screens that the computer's built into the back of.
Oh, no, so you're talking just about another offering in the Apple range. Right, so it's understandable.
Yeah, the dog shit, lunk of a brick that basically makes computer desks collapse.
It's understandable why, your PC mind wouldn't be able to comprehend this. But there's an ability where you can offer more than one product line to be able to offer different sets of people the right product for them. So
almost like graphics cards when there's hundreds of them.
Well, yeah,
CPUs
but they do use graphics cards.
Various different types of speeds of RAM, where there's hundreds of them.
It's an amazing feat that Apple don't actually have to put as much RAM in their computers. Although computers are a little bit different, but especially in their phones as Android does, because they can optimize it better. Because it's Apple silicon, it's Apple chips, it's Apple parts, Apple software.
It's okay. I wouldn't expect your unintelligent.
Do you want to say that again?
I'm stuttering over my words purely because I'm dealing with a child and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible for you. Unintelligent for you using a Mac. All right. And I am on about those giant lugging bricks of screens that for some reason are all on like computer desks in schools, art schools. And then like, no, you've got to use this because it's good. And then you load it up. It takes 5 years to load up. And you're like, miss, it's break time. And it's like, no, you've got to start drawing. And like, it's break time. Your lesson's over. Your Macs are shit.
You see, this is the difference, because when you have Macs and Apple, you can use software designed for Apple, designed for that tech, that runs incredibly well on it. And it doesn't matter what Apple product you have, whether it be a laptop, an iMac, even an iPad, you can they all run that software or a version of that software bespokely created for each product. Now, if you try to fill your art schools with Windows, it would go like this. Okay, right, we've all booted up our i3 processors. Good. Right, now we all going to load up Paint. Are we all ready? And then 3 hands go up and they say, miss, mine's updating. Right, you guys can sit out for the rest of the lesson. Someone else puts their hands up.
Motherfucker, don't you dare.
Miss,
you can start dissing on Paint.
Miss,
Listen,
mine's...
if you want death threats, Joel, if you want death threats for dissing on Paint, then be my guest. But I'm going to stop you right there. Paint in IT class was still one of the most fondest memories any child ever has.
To be fair, it did beat playing with Serif, didn't it? When you were there, trying to learn how to do a hyperlink in a web page.
What's Serif?
Do you not use Serif in school?
No.
Oh, Serif.
What the hell was that?
We used a thing called Serif Dreamweaver, when they try to teach us basically how to build a website. But this was back in the OG day where you'd have to almost like code your own websites. Now you can just go on, like Wix or anything and just make a website from pre-built coding. But yeah, back then you had to like create your own hyperlinks and everything. And instead of like trying to do boring things on Serif that you were never going to use, we'd just go on Paint and mess about and draw phallic images.
Exactly. You can't go on Paint on Macs. Useless.
But no, you can use better things like Procreate.
But you can't, because you need to know how to use Procreate. This is the issue. Paint, you load it up, you draw something, bish bash bosh, you're an artist. Apples, you load up Procreate and it's like a massive block of text filling your entire screen, being like a whole product's disclaimer about how it won't work in 10 years time. And then all of this. And then you click accept, and then another thing pops up and being like, this is the tutorial, and it's a 52-stage tutorial on how to use Procreate, and it teaches you stupid stuff that you'll never use when you could just do a little bit of shading on Paint.
Have you seen
little bit of shading?
Have you seen? Well, first of all, Van Gogh didn't use Paint, so go do one.
He did actually. He used oil paint, but that's
he didn't use Paint.exe. I'll give you that.
He would have if he could. He wouldn't use a fucking Mac. I'll tell you that.
It wouldn't have. It wouldn't have been a gorgeous vase of sunflowers. It just would have been a stick man drawn dodgily with a mouse somewhere.
Yeah. With Van Gogh's name on
with
it.
Van Gogh,
and
it would be in an art center selling for millions.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you this,
because it was made by a PC.
Let me tell you this. Let me start again.
Yeah, try again. Calculate the thoughts in your head, Joel. Right. Ramp up that processing speed on your Mac. You might be able to think quicker, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, I can. To be fair, the Mac does have such a good neural processing unit. I could probably use it for my own brain.
You probably could, and then you'd shut down every 2 months to update, and then realize that your software would be out of date by the next year.
Windows 11. Now, when I think about Windows 11, their menus has simplified. Everything on the bottom bar has now become an icon in the middle, almost a little bit like Apple Mac. And it gets further, because not only has the start menu turned into a launch control, a launch pad, which came from Mac, but all of the text boxes and everything has gone from square to rounded edges, which, lo and behold, started with Mac. So it's almost like Windows are copying Apple.
I'm gonna just stop you right there. They're in the middle because you put them in the middle, mate. And I know you did, because we had this conversation. I asked, why the fuck are your icons in the middle of your screen? And you went, oh, I just prefer them there.
No.
Put them there.
No. On my work computer,
icons are still on the left.
On Windows 10, I put my icons in the middle, but that was a right ball ache. On Windows 11, they're there automatically.
Listen, mate. It's not a copy, all right?
No.
It's probably an improvement.
Well, if it's an improvement, Mac were doing it first. So what's that saying? Maybe they're just ahead of the curve.
It's probably that that PC are looking at Mac and being like, see, a lot of people are buying this crap and paying too much money for it. Let's just make it better with simple technology. Better processors, better graphics card, better equipment, better brains working on the actual system itself, and let's just one up them because we can.
We can't have our own ideas. We must just copy Apple.
It's more of a flex, I would say, to be honest, to be like, okay, whatever. Mac's doing that. We can do it better.
More of a flex to say, finally, my muscles are as big as Apple's. Yeah, what a flex. Yeah.
As Apple's got big muscles, have they, in your eyes?
Apple's got huge muscles. Apple's like that jacked guy that's also really slender. Do you know what I mean? The Captain America of computers.
Really? Well, PC's like the Thor of the Avengers, the actual good one. So
he's got a hammer.
He's got a hammer that comes back to him. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, he's got because he always needs it to fix himself.
See, that was a good one. That was a good one. Go fuck yourself. But that was a good one. Okay.
Can I talk for a second about security? So,
please do.
We all know the bane of our lives that Windows Defender and Windows Firewall actually is. The thing that stops everything working at the most inconvenient times and then doesn't actually stop you from getting viruses. So there's that to start with.
What the fuck are you using?
Windows Firewall. And secondly...
No, I mean, what are you downloading for them to stop things working is my question. Because Windows Defender has been the best thing on Windows for me for the past 7 years.
Well, that's
because I don't need any antiviruses.
That's because you haven't opened up your laptop for however many years, so you haven't needed to. But what I'd say is that Macs have such better security, and this isn't even down to the operating system, although it is better. This is just because so many, basic people use PCs that they know that's where all the vulnerable minds go. So they put all the viruses towards PC, so that when you go to Mac, there are so much less there's so many fewer viruses out there for Mac that you don't have to worry about it.
I mean, whilst you might make a good point, the reason PC consumers are targeted is because they're the most successful ones with the biggest bank accounts, and can actually afford, proper products.
Are they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. So that's why they get targeted by hackers, is because the software works, for one. I mean, a hacker would probably try and hack into a Mac and be like, "Fuck this! This is dog shit. Doesn't work." Right, and then give up. Okay, and then they go to a PC and be like, "Why didn't I start here? Everyone's got so much more money. Oh my god!
So
this is where all the good, intelligent people are."
We must be like the only two people with a PC then that fall out of the bracket of loads of money. Then we're the only two, right?
I mean, at the end of the day, mate, the fact that you own a PC just is kind of null and void your argument.
Is it though?
It kind of is, yeah. Because I mean, like, if Mac was so good as to what you're saying, why do you need a PC?
Well, I was actually contemplating building a Mac to start with.
Because my computer is perfect. All right, my computer is amazing, and I love it to bits. I would never consider wasting £1,000 on a box that doesn't work. So I don't need a Mac. Why do you need a PC if you've got a Mac?
To be fair, I do need a PC because I want to play games that aren't available to Mac OS.
Aren't available? Oh, you mean aren't runnable?
No. They're just not. They're just
playable.
You can play them on. You can play games on Mac. There's just a much smaller selection of games available.
Because they don't work on Mac.
They would work on Mac. It's powerful enough to run them. They just don't.
It's not.
Because again, like I said, people who buy Macs don't want to waste their time just playing video games. People who buy Macs want to go out there and do things in the world,
So they take their Mac around with them, do they?
Yeah, do you see them in Starbucks?
Oh, I do, yeah. Those type of successful people that paid £6, £7, £8 on a coffee.
They're living the life of
just
luxury.
make it at home.
This is it.
Are they?
Yeah,
Do they also listen to 24/7 indie Spotify music?
They listen to lo-fi beats, and that the man bun
beats,
is actually tied up with a bamboo bobble that cost £8 for two.
No way.
Yeah.
That's a signifier of success.
It is.
John,
it really is.
If I've ever seen it, honestly, that's so good. You've convinced me.
Can't remember the last time I saw you with a man bun. There you go.
To be fair, I had a man bun like 2 years ago, and then it was cut off for a role that I wasn't needed for anymore.
I was going to say, when you said it was cut off, that sounded like it was against your will.
I mean, they asked if they asked if I was okay with it being cut off, and I was like, yeah, sure, it's for a role. I'll do it. Don't mind. It will grow back. And then they did. They also shaved my beard for the first time in 3 years. And so they did all that. I looked like a prepubescent boy again. And then we got onto set, and they were like, yeah, no, we don't need you, actually. I was like, you what?
Thanks for that.
You don't need me. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Almost like no one needs a Mac. So at the end of the day, when a Mac doesn't have enough processing power, and you can argue that it does, but it doesn't, to play standard games, and make a living off of playing games like, a lot of people are nowadays, making more money than graphic designers. And that other upper echelon of people that you're sucking the dick of. I think PC triumphs. PC can do everything a Mac can do. Just that I would say a little bit better, but a lot better and a lot more simple.
Yeah. So when you open up your Windows laptop, okay, and
computer,
you open up your Windows laptop, and first of all, you pull up the lid, and the whole thing just bends under the weight of itself because it's made of the cheapest plastic you could ever imagine. And, you can see your kind of like bright thumbprint at the top of the screen as the whole frame is bending to your ever so slight movement of the hand. And then when you go to the keyboard and you think, brilliant, well, the laptop, thankfully, it's PC, it's just about survived being opened. That's good, we've a good start. And then you've waited for the update. And then you got to type. And as you press on the keys, the whole bed of the laptop, it's plastic and it's starting to bend, and you can hear the creaks, and the fans are kicking up because of the cooling's bad, and you're thinking, my gosh, this is terrible. How did I pay £800 for this? Meanwhile, over at Apple, the whole thing, unibody, brushed aluminium. You open it up, makes a lovely tactile click almost as the rubber pads around the edge of the screen lift off from the metal base. And as you go to the keyboard, which is wonderfully weighted with just the right amount of travel,
non-existent,
you then start to tap away. And you've even got a smart bar at the top that you can change to reflect whatever you like to help with your workflow, as opposed to having to buy something additional, like what you would at the PC.
I just love the fact that you're trying to focus on laptops. Now, if you was to buy an £800 PC laptop, it would be more powerful than every single Mac ever created up until this day and age. Just saying.
Do you know what? 5 years ago, I would have agreed you.
Sorry, I let you talk. Shut the fuck up, Mac boy. Okay? Jesus Christ. Does arrogance come with buying a Mac? I'm sure it does.
That just comes with success.
Does it? What are you suffering from then? Just straight arrogance.
Straight success.
So no, you're not successful. The £800 laptop would pull up completely fine, but would also have a 144 hertz refresh rate monitor that a Mac doesn't have because, again, not powerful enough. And then it would have a very tactile keyboard, like a really nice keyboard that you can hear the clicks and you can feel the weight under the keys, whereas Mac has like a flat, almost like bread base keyboard. Disgusting. You can't even feel that you're tapping the keys. It's gross. All right. And there's another appliance that you could buy for a Mac, the mouse, where there's buttons on the side, and it's like some half-assed poached egg. Doesn't even look like a mouse.
They do need a new mouse. Have you seen where the charging port is on that thing?
No, I haven't, because I don't want to. It's disgusting. I hate them.
The charging port is perpendicular with the bottom of the mouse. So you have to plug it in like directly into the bottom, so you can't use it while it charges.
Another design flaw for the Macintosh, I see.
But then again, to be fair, you don't use a Windows mouse. You buy a third-party mouse. So in all fairness, if you've ever gone and bought a Windows mouse, they're not exactly brilliant.
I would rather use a Windows mouse than a Mac mouse.
What even is a Windows mouse? I've never even...
Just a normal mouse, one that works.
Well, no, that's just a USB mouse that works with anything. As long as it's got USB ports, you could use it with your bloody toaster if you wanted to.
Yeah, and that's literally what a mouse is. That is a Windows mouse.
No, that's just a mouse.
If Windows made a mouse, it would be the exact same, you knob.
If Windows made a mouse, it would probably be shit.
Probably be better. Mate, shit is better than Mac, so we still win out there. All right. I mean, my shit probably has more processing power than Macintosh, so take that with how you will.
Why do you shit on Mac for having, quote unquote, no processing power when it's not about who's got the beefier processor? Because when I go onto my computer, it might be slightly more beefy than a Mac, but it's not any quicker than a Mac. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have there isn't a better experience because of it.
My computer is definitely quicker than your Mac.
No, but my Mac's a bit old. My Mac's a little bit rubbish, to be fair.
My computer is definitely quicker than a Mac today.
I would say no.
I would put money on it. My computer can restart within a second.
You're setting yourself up here. Are you sure you want to do this?
Oh, 100%.
So you're saying that a 2022 model Mac of a similar high-end Mac now, because obviously your computer is built to be a high-end computer. It's not like a £500 PC.
My computer is about £700.
It wouldn't be nowadays. Macs.
What do you mean? It'd be even less.
No, because I was looking at buying your graphics card that you've got, and it was like £450 now.
Right, but the CPU and the RAM has got cheaper.
Nah, what CPU you got?
It balances out. CPU is a AMD Ryzen 5 3600.
No, that's like £250
off the top
alone there.
Off the top of the dome.
Because mine's the Ryzen 5 2600, and that was like £180.
When was the last time you looked at this?
like a month ago.
I also want to make a point while we're nerding out over computer parts. Isn't it so refreshing to be able to talk about, you know, the vast range of computer parts that we could put in my computer just to make it a little bit different. You know what I mean? Just a little bit spice up your life, I guess. If it's not working just up to scratch, you just take one part out and replace it. Bob's your uncle. You don't have to buy a whole new system.
You see, with certain Macs, you can do that. Some you can't. True. Very true. But some you can.
Not some. Most.
Some.
Most. Joe, it is literally most Macs you cannot replace parts for better ones. And you know it is. Stop
what's
lying
that behind?
to your
What's
teeth.
that behind you? Is that what's that behind you? I can see something. Are you okay?
I'm fine, mate. Having to listen to your bullshit is kind of throwing me off a little bit.
But I do.
I've never known you to be the type of person that lies either, Joel. I thought you was an honest Christian.
Well, if you think Christians are honest, then I'll thought to that.
Let's not get into that one.
But no, I mean, think about Macs. They're really cheap, really affordable. You know, they.
Sorry. What?
And anyway, why would you
say that one more time? I just want it on recording. Say that one more
really
time.
Cheap
Macs are
really cheap and affordable. And why would you want to upgrade your computer when you can just drop another £2,000 on a new one? Do you know what I mean? What kind of world is this?
Yeah. No, you're right.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Let's go, Max.
Yeah, man.
Bankruptcy. Yeah.
Bankruptcy, but at least you'll get to bankruptcy without having a fucking virus.
Mate, I've never had a virus on my computer.
That's
like
what
said,
that's what you think.
I don't know what weird shit you're downloading for your computer. Where even Windows firewalls, like he's probably a Mac user because he's downloading dodgy shit. But right. I don't download that type of stuff.
Do you know what I'm trying to download?
My computer's fine.
I'm trying to download random software just to make my PC work at a base level, just to make it function because it's so terrible at just doing basic tasks. I can't on Windows 11. I can't even drag and drop something by using the bottom taskbar. Do you know, like when you want to open a window while holding something and drag and drop it? You can't even do that. You've got to literally open Windows side by side in split screen and then move it across. Or import it through the file menu. Useless.
What are you even talking about now?
I'm on about my experience with Windows 11.
Again, it's just motor controls for a simpleton that you're doing, right? If you actually knew how to use a computer properly, like a normal person, you wouldn't be having these issues.
Well, the same function works on Windows 10, but obviously when Windows bring out an update, they can never do it properly, can they? So it always goes wrong.
I mean, I just haven't updated to Windows 11 because I don't need to.
You see, that's what Windows does. It encourages you to stay stuck in the past, while Mac invites you to the future. They say, hey, welcome to the future. You don't need to be stuck in the 1940s. You can welcome to 2022.
Welcome to the future where we don't work anymore. Oh my goodness.
They do work.
Those lovely softwares that you use, they don't work.
The fact that I'm able to record this on a 10-year-old computer, which is working wonderfully. Granted, it does take 15 minutes to start up, but it is 10 years old.
It works wonderfully, does it?
It does.
When your mic doesn't work half the time, the audio doesn't work half the time. So you don't want to blame that on your audio equipment. We can start blaming on your Mac.
Yeah, it is an old computer. She is an old girl, but it was built with probably parts from, I don't know, 2011, 2012. So,
at the end of the day, Joel, your useless computer that you're moaning about, right, that you can't do basic functions on, is still more powerful, better than your Mac that you own. I think that says a lot at the end of the day, that you've got both of them side by side, and one of them is still better than the other.
It was also a lot more expensive than the Mac. It's worth putting that out there.
How much did you pay for your Mac?
The Mac was 200 quid.
Probably get your money back. A waste of money.
Well, my PC cost about 750, 800 in total.
750 for that piece of crap. Holy moly, you need to get your money back for that as well.
But
learn how to make a PC. Learn how to outsource materials and,
and
get better
I built
deals.
I bought all the individual parts. It's just, unfortunately, when I went to buy them, we were already in the chip shortage. So everything with price was, sky high. When you built yours, we were still trading with sheep and half pennies and stuff. So everything was dirt cheap.
Sheep and Halfpennies years ago, and it still works better than everything you've ever owned.
Everything I've ever owned.
Yeah, I mean, your cars don't work, your Mac doesn't work,
My
your
car
computer
works
doesn't
wonderfully,
work.
and it works so well that I'm going to come down to Dudley and I'm going to slap you.
I mean, you can slap me all you want, but my computer's still better than everything you've ever owned. I could put wheels on my computer and it'd probably travel faster than your car.
Yeah, it would. It would travel faster down to the tip.
I'll meet your Mac while I'm there. Simple as.
So I think we've discussed at length, and I'm glad that we can understand that Mac is ultimately superior and it's just a better brand overall.
I'm glad that we can stop being delusional and Mac's awful.
Oh, so, yeah, you go and enjoy your Windows ecosystem. Have you ever tried a Windows phone? Yeah, thought so.
No, I don't need to. I've also don't have a Apple phone because they're dreadful and they stop working after years.
After just
software
years.
Upses. Yeah.
They're so dreadful. That's why I'm able.
Well, I mean, they slow down after a year.
I'm able
and
to
then after 3 years they come to a stop.
Cinematic footage of supercars on my phone and be able to sell them, all because Apple have made it possible to do so. While on an Android or Windows phone,
do that on
a Windows phone,
anything.
I wouldn't be able to do jack shit.
You could do that on anything.
I wish I could, but you're wrong.
You're just good with a camera, mate, but clearly shit with a computer. it is what it is.
Yeah, all right. Well, anyway, should we go and do some gaming on our Windows PCs?
Yeah, let's do that.
Great, I'll see you there.
See you there. Fuck Mac.